G'day and welcome to another edition of the Aussie Ideas Man. Just thought I'd bring out another video. This time I've decided to show some observations that I have just made. Just a couple, but I think they're important. So as I go through some of the clips that I've recently watched, I'll make some comments as usual. All intelligent fanboys are welcome to refute me and show where I have got something wrong. Here we go.
Hello everyone, it's Steve with APTERA Owners Club. Let's go over the next part of this February update.
The firmware team here in San Diego continues to test and validate our production intent battery management system. For those who don't know, this is one of the most important systems running in a vehicle. It ensures the battery pack is operating in the perfect conditions and puts the battery in a safe state if any catastrophic issues should arise during operation. In March, we're excited to share more about what a battery management system is and what makes ours special in a full video. Only 30%.
Okay, so they're talking about they have their own BMS. So, here is the APTERA logo on the circuit board of their BMS. I'm not super familiar with it, so I can't identify what these chips are. These look like capacitors to me.
I'll just go back to the picture there because, yes, there's four whopping big, thick, I guess, let's call them capacitors. I don't know. I'm not electronically minded, but apparently the cretin seems to know everything, so call them capacitors. But whatever they are whopping big things that stick out a mile from the rest of the circuit board. Okay. I just want to stop here and show you that because I've pulled a video out where on a factory tour a couple of months ago, it must be, Chris Anthony shows a BMS that he says is going into APTERA provided by his flux power company, and the one that he picks up has no thickness to it whatsoever, nowhere near enough to have those four capacitors in it. So we have a different BMS shown. I've always said there's two stories to APTERA with everything they do, and now here's another example. The BMS here is different to the BMS Chris shows. I've got it at the end of this video. I've got it tacked on, so I'm going to have to shift it to be in this area. I'll do that later. We'll just keep going for now.
But the function of a BMS, for those of you guys that don't know, is there's three main functions. There's battery protection, battery monitoring, and battery optimization. So it has temperature sensors. So if it's like getting too hot or too cold, it'll adjust the amount of coolant and adjust power output and charging state to keep it within the operating temperature range. And then also,
take particular notice that the BMS will adjust power output. What he's telling you there is that it takes over your accelerator pedal, and it will either bring you down to, say, a 15 miles per hour speed if it thinks that is fast enough or slow enough to keep the battery at an optimum temperature. But it can also stop the car dead, which has happened 3 times already with APTERA's prototypes. It stops the car completely dead. That's adjusting the power output for you. And this is what I reckon will happen 5 times a day to anybody that ever owns one. Whether they're going up a slight hill or whether it's a bit of a warm day, whatever it is, this BMS is going to do that to your vehicle. It's not going to be fit for purpose.
And then optimization, basically all the individual cells. So like, if you look back at APTERA's battery pack, it's made up of thousands of cells, and each of these cells are manufactured to be.
I don't think it's made up of thousands of cells. If we actually count this one, and this picture is from that Korean manufacturer, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 wide by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 deep. So there's 13 times 16. Doesn't come to be thousands of cells. This is the pack, they are the cells. And it's not thousands. 13 times 16 is what? 10 tens are 100, 3 sixes are 24, 124. Okay, on we go. Oh, before I go on, this is the other issue that I find wrong and a second story to what APTERA are doing once again. Too many second stories for them to be genuine.
So that's basically the job of the BMS. And then let's see, he's talking about subscriptions. And it looks like in March they're going to do a more in-depth video about the BMS. So we'll definitely be on the lookout for that.
At CPC in Italy, they are working on assembling the first 3 body structures.
Okay, so I think some people interpreted this as saying that they're only going to make 3 production intent vehicles when they said 16 before. My impression is they're still making 16. They're just currently working on the first batch of 3 at this point. So what this tells us is CPC has not finished building the bodies yet. So there's no way they can be in Carlsbad right now. Some people have noted that there is this large wooden crate in some pictures, recent pictures that we've seen from APTERA, and they think those crates represent a shipped production intent body in Carlsbad. That is absolutely not the case. They're still over in Italy. They have not been built and they haven't even been shipped over yet.
I would have had things to say about that on his video, but I'm blocked as usual, and I'm blocked on most videos that promote APTERA. This is what I had to say. I said that that crate was definitely not parts from Italy. And I said that crate was more than likely a crate that is there to take away some things before they get into the nitty-gritty of another liquidation and asset sale. That crate's there to take stuff away, as far as I can tell. And now that the cretin has said it definitely didn't bring anything, then why have they got the crate out? You can ask yourself that question. Now, there are people who have been recently and seen what they pass off as a factory. This almost empty warehouse, and they've seen everything in there. What I would like is for some of those people to go back and see if they can see things that are no longer there. See what might have gone away in those crates. That would be a good idea.
Remember, these are production bodies. They're using low volume assembly jigs to assemble all the pieces together, but we will be able to assemble the entire BINC fully automatically with robots when we choose to transition to high volume manufacturing.
Okay, so they are hand building those with jigs, and I think that's what they're working on right now. But their plan is to have.
Here's something. At the production intent stage, what they were saying when they, a year or two ago, were always talking about getting to production intent was that these things would be built on a production line. They said no longer will alphas and betas and gammas be handmade, but production intent means that these things will now be on a production line. I think they called them deltas at the time. They'll be done on a production line. And already we see that they're hand building the PIs. Once again, they haven't lived up to their promises at all. They're hand building the PIs. The other thing is that in their SEC filings for quite some time, they were saying that we use far fewer robots, that we were going to be American made with American manufacturers giving people jobs. And now they're saying we intend to have robotics build these bodies. Once again, 2 different stories.
Have it so that these can be assembled using robots and like almost fully automated once they get the capital to move to high volume production.
Now, I plan to visit CPC next month and bring you along so that we can take a look at the progress being made together. We're excited to unveil APTERA's BINC to the public for the first time at JEC World in Paris, France, the leading international composite show from March 5th to the 7th. Come meet with the team that created APTERA's tooling, Energy.
Okay, so this is the video that we had yesterday, and it's talking about how the BINC is going to be on display at this kind of a trade convention. It's for the composites industry. Now, this Energy, they're the people that make this press. And so CPC buys this press from Energy, and then they're the ones that are going to be at the booth. And if you look at their little, their promo for their booth, this right here is the APTERA. These are the A pillars, and this is the windshield area. So that is the carbon fiber SMC part of that front part. And here's like the hood area. That's going to be on display. It will not be an assembled body in carbon.
Well, APTERA is going to bring about what America's been worried about for decades. Commies in the country. At least they're not commies under the bed. Anyway, they might be the leading trade show, or whatever is it, composites show in the world, but there'll be hardly anybody go to it. And just about all of them won't care less about APTERA. They're looking at the machinery, not the thing that comes out of it.
APTERA's marketing team members, Audra and Chris. Finally, as you know, APTERA is designed to be a very safe vehicle, but we haven't yet shared results from our years of engineering. I thought this month we could show a teaser of APTERA's crash simulations. As you see, we have a...
Okay, this is actually pretty cool. I think we've seen some of these crash simulations before, but you can see that this is the chassis. This is the frame, and the battery pack sits in this frame here, this little frame, and it looks like it's designed so that when you have a frontal impact, it displaces the force of the impact downward and it folds at this point, which is kind of cool.
Big front crumple zone, protecting occupants.
So right there, you see it folding like this. And so instead of pushing the force through the passenger cabin, it drives it downward and the front piece folds upward. And this folds right here at this point. So it protects this passenger compartment, which is kind of cool.
From intrusions. Even on
Yeah,
See how far the battery pack drops? Once it's dropped that far, it's going to contact the road and set the batteries on fire. So it doesn't matter how protected you are from frontal collision, when you could have not a scratch on you and just incinerate to death instantly before you can open the doors. That battery is taking a nosedive to the ground, and that has to be the most dangerous thing you can do.
see that? So the passenger compartment, there's no intrusion in here, and the energy of the crash is dissipated by the deformation of the frame downward.
side impact, our structural battery pack and
And so you see here, this is the frame protects the passenger cabin, and here's the structural battery pack. You see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Here's the 6 modules that go into the battery pack. And I think this represents like the steel beam in the door.
A steel beam in the door is useless as hen's teeth. The door is open on both sides. So when something hits it, that door will get pushed in, steel beam and all, without any resistance whatsoever. Now, we know that there are no side airbags, so the occupants are in grave danger. No side airbags, a steel beam in a door, and that door will just blow in like nothing happened. Like, it's just crazy. You cannot put a steel beam through a door and then have it locked into the side of the car, because then the door doesn't open. So having this steel beam in the door is like I said, it's like having hen's teeth. It's crazy.
reinforced door.
But anyway, there looks like they've designed it so that intrusion into the passenger cabinet is very low. There is not as much crumple zone in a side impact to absorb the energy of the collisions, but I think that's the case in any car. Like in any car, there's just less crumple zone.
No, it's not the case in any car. Not every car has what could be up to 100 kilowatt hour battery pack that's going to take the force, because that door's not going to take any force. That steel bar might stay straight, but the whole door's going to go straight into the occupant. And the next thing that's going to happen is that battery pack is going to take the side impact. And once again, if that battery pack takes the side impact, you're lit up like a Roman candle before you know what went on.
On the side, and you're gonna have to deal with the forces that are put on the person, but you're not gonna have intrusion into the passenger compartment.
We can't wait to compare these simulations to real life in our production intent vehicle builds.
All right, thanks for watching. Have a great day, everyone.
Hi everybody, how you doing today? Welcome back. Hey, listen, this time we're going to talk about what Steve talked about, and he was actually bringing up about APTERA's battery pack. And so we're going to get into that. So let's go. All right, welcome back to
All right, it's Hillbilly Bill's turn. When he said we're going to talk about what Steve's talking about, I'm not sure whether he's referring to Steve Fambro or whether he has watched Steve the Cretin. But it doesn't matter. This is the important thing that I'm showing him, and I'm going to slot him in straight after my count of the batteries in the Cretin's video, because now I'm going to count these ones. This says APTERA here. These are what APTERA were making. Across 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There are 12 across. The batteries that the Koreans are making are 13 across. And seeing that there are 3 packs wide across APTERA, there's going to have to be room for 3 more cells, because these are the same size batteries or battery cells that go in both packs. Now we go for down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. The Koreans are making 16s. They're that much shorter, which means they won't have any problem fitting in, but they're still a different size. Now, is 13 times 16 the same as 12 times 18?
my channel. It's good to have you here. So this time we're going to talk about APTERA's battery pack that Steve brought out, and let's check this video out and we'll talk about it.
Our partner CTNS has built sample battery modules. This quick progress shows us how skilled, efficient, and eager CTNS is to provide APTERA owners.
These are the ones that CTNS in Korea have built that are 13 by 16 instead of 12 by 18.
With some of the most energy dense and safe battery packs in the EV industry.
But that also brings us to the other part of this battery efficiency system that APTERA has put together, and that is their BMS. So let's get into this video as well.
The firmware team here in San Diego continues to test and validate our production intent battery management system. For those who don't know, this is one of the most important systems running in a vehicle.
There's that same BMS that the Cretin was showing.
Battery pack is operating in the perfect conditions and puts the battery in a safe state if any catastrophic issue should arise during operation.
So as Steve brought out, the BMS is one of the most important systems in the vehicle. Case in point, the APTERA BMS is designed to safeguard the battery pack, optimize its performance, and ensure efficiency operation by closely monitoring individual cells, maintaining safety limits, and enhancing overall battery life throughout effective management and operation strategies. So here we see why the BMS is so important. And I brought this out in an earlier video about 3 weeks ago, talking about this and how the BMS, with its regulations on the battery packs, that it also keeps the battery pack from overheating and thus causing thermal runaway.
Now, there's misinformation, if ever there was any, that it prevents thermal runaway because it manages temperature. Thermal runaway occurs irrespective of temperature. Temperature can assist it, but it doesn't mean that temperature causes it. Temperature can assist it, that's all. What is thermal runaway? Thermal runaway is when dendrites finally reach across and cause a short circuit. That's a cross between the cathode and the anode. They grow over time and they pass through the separator. These dendrites occur under normal operating temperatures. They just grow over time. Rising temperatures can make them grow faster, but an optimum temperature doesn't stop them from growing. So he's giving you misinformation. He's telling you the BMS can stop this thermal runaway. It doesn't. It can slow it down, but it can't stop it. If the dendrites are there and they're growing, too bad. you got a dud battery that will probably end up killing you.
So this is going to be very important. And Steve brought out, they're going to be talking about that this month. So we'll see how much detail they're going to bring out about their battery pack. And
Yes, I'm looking forward to that this month because they've always ever made 2-minute videos once a month and missed many months at that. Lately, they've made a 6-minute video, and I think that's just because they're really desperate to get more people investing. That last video, February update, was just a big crawl for investors. It was pitiful. Still, what are they going to do? Are they going to answer my questions that I've made on this video when they talk about the 2 different BMSs they have and the 2 different battery packs, one in Carlsbad and one in Korea? Totally different sizes, and the Koreans won't fit the width.
all right, so I am so stoked. I'm awesomely happy knowing that they are continuing to move.
Power busing, it keeps all the same PDU, it keeps the same battery management computer, it keeps all that the same. This is an example of the battery management computer. It's obviously a 3D print, but the battery management computer goes on each module, and then
Have a good close look and see if you could get 4 capacitors inside that 3D print of the BMS. I say it's impossible.
communicates to a head-end board. They don't have the head-end board out here, but the head-end board is what makes all the decisions about how the pack is managed. Every battery pack fire that you've heard of in the news is caused by this guy. This computer didn't make the appropriate decision on what was happening in the pack, and it let it go rogue. But that's an APTERA
There's
design.
yours
That's
is
an APTERA
proprietary.
design.
There's firmware on that, right?
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah,
you're going to be able to update it as you get smarter.
So my other company, Flux Power, is a lithium battery company down the street. They're the number 1 supplier to the forklift industry. They sell lithium batteries. But I started that company on the back of a battery management computer I designed. And obviously,
I
I've
was
been in
going
the
to ask
battery
you
industry
what
for a
battery
decade.
technology you personally have brought to APTERA.
This guy.
So there you have it. He's got one that doesn't have those 4 capacitors, if they're capacitors at all, but he certainly has one that's totally different from the other one that they're showing. 2 different BMS units.
And the composite stuff. I'm the composite guy. So.
Chris,
And the computational fluid.
rough UTA on the 120 millimeter cells. Rough.
The questions were getting a bit hard, so off he trots.
They have them in Asia. We don't have them here yet.
So they're already being made.
Yeah, they're producing them now in volume. So they've already gone through all their manufacturing testing. Now, we haven't characterized them ourselves yet, though. So
Very cool.
I would think we're going to get them in probably another month or 2.
So how long ago did he say that? Keep your eye on the dates. You're going to get these things. This is the 120 mil high, is it? The tallest ones. Batteries. Keep your eye open. He expects them in a month or 2 from back when he said this, which is probably a month ago already. So just keep your eye open. These guys just lie through their back teeth. And one of the main things they lie about is proposed dates.
But it's kind of low on our priority list.
Do you know who the cell manufacturer is going to be, or is it going to be kind of whoever CTNS decides is best, like Samsung,
It's
LG?
not made publicly available, but it's cool.
He just seems like a snake oil salesman to me. Well, that's it from me. Looking forward to all the intelligent comments. Bye for now. Stay safe.